Mr. Mercaldo presents a virtual field trip, including Flamingo Bay, the underwater sculpture park, and more. Mr. Dave Mercaldo presents a virtual field trip to underwater Grenada. So our first stop will be snorkeling in Flamingo Bay. We are going to be taking a boat there through Dive Grenada. So now we're on a small motorboat going by Grandon's beach, seeing some sailboats, and the view of the harbor looks quite beautiful. Now here we are, entering Flamingo Bay. As you look around Flamingo Bay, you can see the scenic green foliage, and it's quite beautiful and serene. So as we drop anchor, I am thoroughly enjoying these gorgeous views. And now our guide is going to explain one of the types of fish we are going to see.
Sergeant majors. So usually these ones are the first ones to greet you on the way in. Alright.
And now the scuba diver enters first. I will be free diving today. I will not need a scuba gear. I'll be holding my breath as I dive down. And our guide was correct. The first thing I see is a bunch of Sergeant Major fish. Sergeant Major fish are named after the military stripes that they resemble. They travel in schools of up to 100 when they are feeding. Maybe they're doing now because there's a whole bunch of them. It is a species of damselfish. It can be aggressive during spawning season to protect its young. Other than that, they seem pretty calm to me. I swam all around them with no problems. They have a diet of algae, small crustaceans, and other small fish. And they need to look out for predators, which is basically all the fish bigger than them. Alright, let me dive down deeper to see if I can find what's on the bottom. Ooh, I already see a lot more different species of coral and some other small fish on the ocean floor. This is about 20 to 30 meters down. There were a lot of different fish to see on the ocean floor. I came across a bluefish there. I followed that around a little bit before I had to come back up for air. Oh, there I am at the bottom, waving, and now making my way up to get some air. Okay, I'm ready to dive back down again. Let's see what I'll find this time. Oh, I see some more fish hiding in the coral. There's that bluefish again. Oh, there's a case of some yellow coral. That was interesting looking coral. Oh, there I am passing by. More types of fish and coral. There was so much to see here at Flamingo Bay. Well, there was a lot of swimming around. I really enjoyed my time at Flamingo Bay, but I really came on this trip to see the underwater sculpture park, so that's going to be my next stop. I'm going to the underwater sculpture park. Can't wait, and I'm so glad that the Echo Dive is going to be taking me there today. Leaving from Grandon's Beach in Grenada, I'm with the Echo Dive team now, riding on their bigger boat. Passing by, it's not quite as far as Flamingo Bay, we're already there at the underwater sculpture park. You can't really tell from the surface, but wait till you see once you go below. So I'm going to be the first one to go in the water. I can't wait. Put my flippers on, and I start walking down the staircase step by step before I finally decide I'm just going to jump right in. And 3, 2, 1, splash. I am fully submerged. Alright, let's see what I can find. What's going to be the first thing to see? My guide is there with me. He knows what he's doing. He's going to show me all around. I see some corals right away. Oh, these are called the Amerindian petroglyphs, created by Troy Lewis from Grenada. A total of 14 pieces representing Amerindian or Arawak art, culture, and spiritual worship. Created from reinforced concrete, one of the largest pieces taken takes the form of a zemi. A zemi is a stone-carved idol believed to have supernatural power and measures some 3 feet in height. I think that is the zemi right there. The petroglyphs were fascinating. They definitely looked like they were some sort of indigenous culture meant to represent that. There's another example of one of the 14 petroglyphs. Alright, there's some more sea life to explore. All types of fish. I'm not able to identify all of them, so I left this little chart here, so maybe you could identify them. But I see a lot of different types of sponges and all types of fishes. There's another bluefish. There was a lot of fish and a lot of coral life to see. Now the sculptures here are designed with pH neutral cement, which welcomes coral and other marine life to grow right on the sculptures. This first sculpture is the Circle of Children, created by Jason DeCaris Taylor. He's half British and half Guyanese. This was made in 2007. The casts of the sculpture actually came from real children and is meant to symbolize unity and resilience. So here's another look at the first Circle of Children. I had to dive down pretty deep to get to that. And here's a second Circle of Children, which is also like 20 meters or 30 meters deep. This is a view more from the surface, but I did have to hold my breath for a little while to get down to that depth to get a good look at it. You can see there's another free diver there that was diving down pretty deep. Okay, now we're coming up to a sculpture that actually shares the same name as the Echo Dive team's boat that I have arrived in. The name of this sculpture is the Nutmeg Princess, created by Lene Kild from Norway in 2014. She used wire concrete. Although Dutch, she went to Grenada and fell in love with the culture and learned about the story of the Nutmeg Princess, which inspired this art. She said that she used wire, concrete, and air to build this sculpture, which pays homage to a Grenadian tale about a beautiful Caribbean princess who once lived in a bottomless lake. Okay, so let's take another free dive straight down to get one last look at the wonderful Nutmeg Princess. So as we dive down, we'll see that she has concrete nutmeg in her hands, and she's facing straight up to the sky, and she's actually kneeling on a giant nutmeg shell. Alright, so on the way to our next sculpture, what do I run into but a whole school of fish. It was fun swimming around these fish. They never touched me, but they let me swim right through them and take selfies with them. They were just a joy to swim through. Alright, the next sculpture, commonly referred to as the Lost Correspondent or the Newspaper Man. This sculpture was first installed in 2006. You can see it had newspaper clippings about Grenada and Cuba and Grenada's independence, but the newspaper clippings are not so visible anymore as the marine life has attached itself to the sculpture, but you can still make out the man sitting at his desk using a typewriter, the Lost Correspondent. Alright, the next sculpture we have here was made by Troy Lewis. It's called Christ of the Deep. It's actually a replica of the exact same sculpture that is above the water, and you can go visit that one in the Carenage at St. George's Harbor in Grenada. This sculpture was given as gratitude to the people of Grenada for their hospitality and selflessness when they aided 600 passengers and crew members of the Bianca Sea that sunk in 1961. This sculpture was installed on the 50th anniversary in 2011. Here am I taking another free dive down to try to get a selfie with the Christ of the Deep. Alright, now moving on to the selfie statue. So my guide here, you can see he's diving way down, and he's going to go take the hand of the selfie statue that actually broke off, and he's going to pick it up and he's going to hold it on to where it's supposed to be on the selfie statue. It's a woman sitting on a bench and she's taking a selfie of herself, and now you can see my guide holding it there with his hand, the phone where it was supposed to be before it fell off, and he's trying to get it to stay, but unfortunately it always comes off. So I go down there for one more time to get my selfie with the selfie statue. Cheese. Alright, now we're coming up on the most iconic sculpture in this park, the Vicissitudes. The Vicissitudes were made by Jason DeCaris Taylor in 2008. They used the pH treated cement and stainless steel. The Vicissitudes depict a circle of figures all linked through holding hands. There are life-size casts taken from a group of children of diverse ethnic backgrounds. I was able to dive down very close to the Vicissitudes sculpture and see all of the marine life and coral growing on the sculpture just like how they planned and intended it to. This may be the largest sculpture at the Grenada Underwater Sculpture Park. Can you count how many human-like figures are holding hands there? That was quite a few. So I'm diving down again to get a little bit of a selfie with the Vicissitudes sculpture. And let's go again. I need to get some air and try it again. Yeah, that's the best selfie I got. Oh, time to go back up to breathe again. So based on its geographic location and bottom of ocean symbolism, many interpret this sculpture as a memorial to the lives lost during the transatlantic slave trade's Middle Passage. In 2020, the sculptor Taylor said, "It was never my intention to have any connection to the Middle Passage. Although it was not my intention from the outset, I am very encouraged how it has resonated differently within various communities and feel it is working as an art piece by questioning our identity, history, and stimulating debate." In my opinion, when I first saw pictures of this online, I immediately thought of the Middle Passage. I believe this culture resonates with a lot of people, and I wonder, how do you interpret this sculpture? What does it mean to you? I'm taking one more look at the vicissitudes before now I approach another sculpture of a woman praying. I believe this was also made by Jason DeCaris Taylor. This sculpture depicts a woman praying. Her face is changed with all the sea life making its home on the sculpture, but you can still identify that she is kneeling in prayer. So I'm going to dive down a few times to get some closer looks at her. Here she is up close. You can see on the original her face is more clear, but now there's all kinds of sea life growing on her face. And that is part of the art of it. These sculptures change over time, and they work with the environment. They're ecologically safe for the environment, and it's actually a home for some sea life. Let me try one more time to get a selfie with her. Alright. Oh, there's another Sergeant Major fish. This is really a great place for fish life. They're just flourishing in this environment. The next sculpture is a mermaid. The sculpture depicts a mermaid laying on the ocean floor. There she is. I'm going to do one more attempt at a selfie with her. I'm going to go right past the mermaid. There I am with the mermaid. Alright, let's see what else we can find. Oh, more fish. Very colorful. So as I'm circling back around in search for more sculptures, I find more of those 14 Ameri Indian or Arawak petroglyphs. So I'm going to take another look at these petroglyphs, see if I missed any earlier, because there's 14 of them. And then I see something surprising, something alive on the ocean floor. A fish with no scales. Do you know what you call a fish with no scales? You call it an eel. A spotted moray eel. It eats crustaceans, mollusks, small fish. It's gotta watch out for grouper, barracuda, and sharks. The moray eel has a great sense of smell but poor eyesight. The yellow eels are actually brown and just have mucus all over them. Pretty gross. Another sculpture at the Grenada Sculpture Park was The Fall from Grace, or The Man on a Bike, which showcases a life-size man cycling alongside the side of a reef. You can find this sculpture a little over 21 feet below the surface of the water. A little bit hard to get to. Another sculpture that's 25 feet below the surface is the Unstill Life. It features a classic composition of a vase and fruit bowl on a table. Like other sculptures found throughout the underwater museum, this piece will gradually be colonized by coral, sponges, and other marine life. The Sienna is another sculpture that shows the human form, but with interwoven metal strands. The elegant installation is said to be of a young skin diver from a local story, and its unique construction allows her to be open to the flow of water. The Silent Cry is one of the newest installations made by some local sculptors and craftsmen. It was constructed to represent the organic root system of giant trees in the Grenadian rainforest. It is 7 feet tall and the first of a series of 7 by Folahik. The TMCC faces. Thanks to the involvement of students from the local community college, this installation features a diverse collection of life-sized faces molded side by side into a large rock. How do you interpret this art? Thank you for coming with me on this underwater adventure in Grenada to the Underwater Sculpture Park in Flamingo Bay. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to Dave Mercaldo on YouTube. And check me out on Instagram at Learning with Mr. Mercaldo. And stay tuned for the next episode where I will be going to San Diego Zoo to see all kinds of animals, including gorillas, lions, tigers, elephants, giraffes, cheetahs, snakes, and more, including the red panda.